Well, hello my friends on YouTube, distinguished viewers and subscribers. It's been 6 days since New Year, and I made myself a promise that this year it's gonna be different. This channel is gonna have some class. So I have this nice Wii Straight Up, which is the Wii 710 also known as, straight out of the safe. It is a safe queen. Or maybe I just take off these gloves and start the way I used to. Well, it was New Year, and yesterday was my birthday, so I thought, why not take out a little flag and put some bling on the table, including the knife. This was a knife I got some time ago in 2017, but I thought, it's New Year, it was my birthday yesterday, so why not a little bling and a little fireworks. So my first review this year, and it is indeed my number 100 review, will be of the Wii knife 710, also known as the Straight Up. This knife comes at a price around 250-300 euro or dollars, in that amount. I got it a reasonably amount cheaper. I can't give you a link or anything. It was due to a private deal, but that's the amount we are moving in, and that is, of course, for many of you, and even for me, a ridiculous amount. I just had the possibility, through some hard work and a good friend, to obtain this knife. And this is not going to be normal for my channel, I can assure you. I normally move around in the budget range, but I think it's nice once in a while to see what some more expensive things can give you, and if they are indeed sort of worth the price, or you can also use them as sort of a reference point in your cheaper knives. With your cheaper knives. And with that, I want to present to you this one, give you my impressions and my review. And as usual on my channel, I didn't change that either. We are gonna start at the blade. It's a very, very nice satin or bead blasted finish with a bit of an accent at the tip here, like a Scandi grind maybe, and a fuller on top. Then we have one thumb studs. This is indeed a right side carry only, and the thumb stud here, not a thumb stud on the other side. Rather thick blade, reasonably thick behind the edge, but I think it makes a good slicer anyway for the work I've done with it anyway. The blade material is M390 top steel, and we have I wouldn't call it a finger choil unless you have very small fingers. I would call it a sharpening choil down here. And moving on to the handle, titanium handle with the Wii logo sort of milled out the whole way, and even on the back side. And as some of you have heard or seen about the Wii Baleanoptera knife, that's a difficult name. It has this pattern as well, but from what I haven't had it in hand, but from what they describe, I think this is way smoother. It gives some grip, but not that edgy. Nick Shabazz described it as a million little hot spots. I don't feel this in this one. Moving, I don't know if you can see it. I hope you can see it. If you look at the length of the handle here, very nice milling pattern. Not very coarse in any way, but just a little grippy. The same at the bottom. Lanyard hole at a spacer sort of at the back side, nicely anodized golden, and golden or bronze pivot with the V logo again. Even the star shape here is bronzed. Looking at the back side, a nice clip. Not space for that much material underneath. That might be a problem if you wear thick pants, but or thick liners in your pockets. But yeah, and a bronze screw, a pivot screw with the star screw once again, and a star screw for the inlay. Looking at the bottom. Also a bit of milling inside the knife. I'll just try to find. Oh, that was sharp. If you can see inside, some milling, heavily milled actually inside the handle, which does something for the weight. Still, it's a big knife, and reasonably heavy, but of course without the milling it could be heavier. And then of course this fully closed back side was reflected jimping here and here, which is reflected from the blade. Fit and finish, very nicely rounded off, even on top of the blade. The fuller, well, you could discuss if that fuller should have stopped before this switch in the blade. I think it should. And then you might discuss as well if a fuller is a bit of a dirt collector. But I think it gives the blade some accent, so I'm a little in doubt what I think about it. But normally I do like fullers quite much. So I think it's okay. Ergonomically, well, it is a very straight knife. No one will have that much difficulty holding it, but it's, on the other hand, it's also not one of the ones that melts into your hand. Normal hammer grip, very nice. But you have the pocket clip a little bit up the side of your hand here, and reverse. Quite nice, as you can see, there's a lot of knife left even in my size 9 hand. Just show you this, yes, and of course draw cut, very nice indeed too, actually, which of course is because of this straight handle, which doesn't make any big bumps inside your hands when you put it in reverse, so to speak. Now the action, as many V knives, this is drop shot. It is as smooth as, yeah, oil on glass, as someone says. Really just false shot. You actually have to take care if you put it like this that it won't guillotine your thumb. The only, and I just made that issue apparent, is the lock here, frame lock. I don't know if it's just me or if it is an inherent problem with frame locks. I often tend to block it with my finger, the frame lock, my index finger. So I actually have to actively remember to remove my finger from the lock. And then if I do that, the action is amazingly well. And as I said, it drops shut. The thumb stud just a little bit too close, perhaps. I regularly have to jam my thumb behind it, but since the detent is very strong, once you break it, you have a knife that opens every time. All in all, being a knife at this price, I am allowed to expect a lot from it, and it delivers. It is by far one of my best knives all over. The issues I mentioned are minor issues, as is with all my reviews. Wouldn't be much fun if I just said it was good or it was bad. I think you have to mention what is good and what is bad, and that's what I do. Some people say I'm a bit negative. Well, if I wouldn't have bought the knife if I was negative. It's just little nitpicks, something they could have done better, something that maybe I don't consider a problem, but you might. I try to get around every detail so that you can make your choice if you want to buy something like this. For me, highly recommended. It is indeed a gem in my collection. Overall discussion, well, it is a little bit of a big knife, and it may come as a surprise for some of my viewers, because normally we agree that I like big knives, but this knife, I don't think it's ever going to come to the construction yard or the forest or whatever. I think this design and this shape and so on, that warrants sort of a gentleman's EDC, which means I find it a little bit big for that. You might disagree. More, it could be considered a gentleman's tactical knife, but I guess most of us are not James Bond or Jason Bourne, so I don't know if it is really needed. Maybe this knife in a little smaller version would have been a good thing. Still, I like it, and if I called it a safe queen, I have carried it, but of course this is not the one I'm gonna take to the forest or to pry whatever open. Not in any way. It is a piece of art as well for me, and it is a sort of a reference point for me in relation to cheaper knives. These knives come with a nice little pouch. Just show you here, and there's with a cloth and a certificate and yeah, some gel, and of course the little tool for the star screws. I'll just see if I can show you a bit closer. And what it basically is a reverse Torx screw or Torx on the knife, and then you have of course the corresponding key on or bit here. And I just wanted very quickly to say something about this, because this has been made an issue with the WE knife for some time. The proprietary hardware, the star screws. What do I think? Well, to be honest, I don't really care. I know if you know Nick Shippey-Bars, you know that he is very outspoken about this. I like him a lot, but I just don't agree with him. Some people say, well, if you're in the field, you can disassemble this knife because you don't have a Torx driver. Well, what do you think you're most likely to take with you? This in your key ring, or, well, now I don't have my Torx bits here, but a few Torx bits for disassembly? I don't think so. If you take this tool and take off the ring, I'll just do it very quickly here. And now I only have the Danish flag because of my birthday, actually. You put this through here. Well, that's not the best solution, but anything that goes through the hole, and then you have a nice little tool for your WE knife, even in the field, as opposed to carrying a complete set of Torx bits and a driver for them. I don't know. I would prefer this, I think. And to be honest, I don't think that's the biggest issue. But that's just to show that we are different, and I don't agree with Nick on everything, and I don't think he agrees with me. And well, I still think I could be his friend, so no problem whatsoever. And I don't honestly think he's gonna watch this video anyway. So this was a lot of banter about this knife, and I think it is a very beautiful knife. I do like it, and it is a gem, and I'm not afraid to say that it's out of a lot of knives that I can use and beat on. This will be more of a safe wing, but I have still carried it, and I will continue to. That's it. I hope you have a wonderful evening, day, whatever it is in your country. Bye bye.